I'm now pleased to introduce our student speaker, Mr. Josh Renzo Claudio. Josh is a graduating senior in electrical engineering, specializing in electrophysics. He's the current technical lead for Manoa's Smart Campus Energy Lab, and his career passions are renewable energy, environmental protection, and STEM education. Couldn't be much better than that. After graduation, he plans to pursue a Master's of Science degree in electrical engineering right here at Manoa. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Josh Renzo Claudio.
Good morning, friends and family. Thank you for joining us here today as we celebrate the hard work and dedication of our graduating class. You know, when I first started out in college, I never thought about becoming the student speaker. I thought that as long as I graduated with a high GPA, my mom would be proud. That didn't really work out exactly how I planned, so I went with plan B and became the student speaker instead. Friends and family, I wanted to take this time today to recognize the achievements of my fellow graduates and to deliver a message on the power of choice and the impact it has had on my life. Now to start this talk off, we're going to travel back in time 7 whole years, all the way to my freshman year at Waipahu High School. You see, when you become a student at Waipahu High School, you're placed into something that we call a house. My house was the Industrial and Engineering Technology pathway, and we were called Invictus. For those of you who don't know, Invictus is also the name of a famous poem written by William Ernest Henley. As an Invictus student, I was forced to memorize part of this poem, and those words were, "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." It only took me 2 minutes to memorize these lines, but it took me 7 whole years to truly understand the power behind them. You see, oftentimes as an adult, we find ourselves in situations where we can't do the things that we love to do because we don't have a choice but to go the other way. We hear it all the time. I don't have a choice but to move to the mainland because that's where all the good schools are. I don't have a choice but to become a doctor because that's what my parents want me to do. I don't have a choice but to not see my family because my job requires me to stay overtime every single day. We hear it all the time, we see it all the time, we live it all the time. And don't get me wrong, I loved my high school. I absolutely loved it. But I have to call them out on one thing. When I was sitting there in that career center as a senior, I was talking to one of the advisors and she told me, "Josh, if you want to become an electrical engineer, you have to move to the mainland. You don't have a choice." So she was telling me that I had to choose between the home that I loved and the career that I loved. And so I was sad. And then I got mad. And then I made the choice on that day to go to school, to work hard and study hard, and to prove her wrong. Fast forward another 3 years, here I am on this stage, moments away from receiving my diploma in engineering. And I'm proud to say that I have not just one, but 2 loving engineering firms waiting for me right here on this island. Okay, you can clap. But I'm not here to brag about myself. In fact, the reason that I'm here is to let each and every single one of you know that you all have the power to choose a better life for yourself. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you don't have that choice. I'm standing here for you. To the 60-year-old woman who keeps getting told that she's too old to finally start taking piano lessons, I'm standing here for you. To the young man who keeps getting pressured by his parents to go to college when in fact his passion is to become a carpenter, I'm standing here for you. To the young woman who spent her entire life preparing herself for a career as a doctor, only to figure out in her senior year of college that her passion is not in medicine, but in teaching, I'm standing here for you. Each and every person in this room has the power to choose the ideal life for themselves. And I would now like to recognize a special group of people that did just that. May I now ask all the graduates to please stand and face the audience. You can remain standing, please. Ladies and gentlemen, standing before you now are 830 outstanding students who come from different backgrounds, cultures, age groups, economic standings, and so forth. But they all have one thing in common. They looked at themselves and they said, I have a choice. I have a choice to go to school, to work hard and study hard, and to pursue the career that I'm passionate about. They looked at themselves and they said, life may be hard right now, but I have the power to choose a better one for myself. They looked at themselves and they said, I don't care what people think my future is going to be like. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the graduating class of 2019. You may be seated.
Thank you, Josh. And as a UH Manoa graduate myself, my job will await you one day.